Hello, it's time for another episode of Discipleship Today. My name is Pastor Bob Benson. I pastor Christ Lutheran Church in Greenhurst. We've been using the book of John as a discipleship text. We've been talking about this special relationship that the beloved disciple had with Jesus Christ. And I started last week in John 15 and read the first handful of verses there about the true vine and abiding in that vine. And I'm going to finish this section of Scripture. And I separated it here because there's a lot to talk about. I'm going to start in verse 12, and I'm going to be reading from the ESV, the English Standard Version. Jesus says here, "This is my commandment, that you love one another as I have loved you. Greater love has no one than this, that someone lay down his life for his friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. No longer do I call you servants, for the servant does not know what his master is doing, but I have called you friends. For all that I have heard from my Father, I have made known to you. You did not choose me, but I chose you and appointed you, that you should go and bear fruit, and that your fruit should abide, so that whatever you ask the Father in my name, he may give it to you. These things I command you, so that you will love one another." It appears to me here that how will the world know that we're Christians? By our condemning attitudes, right? No, it says here that they'll know us by our love. And it says other places, do we love one another? And I think sometimes we struggle with what love looks like. Love is not always necessary, that ooey-gooey feeling. And just having such concern for each other. It is having concern for each other, even if it drives you at times to say hard things to one another. If you see somebody caught in sin, if you really, really love them, you will approach them and talk to them about it. When Jesus knew that Judas had made up his mind to do what he was going to do, Jesus never stopped loving him and never stopped giving him an opportunity to turn away from what he was going to do, even though he knew that's what was going to happen. And sometimes I think we give up on that love side of things, that we turn people over. We say, I've done what I can, and I'm finished here. We are never given that freedom to walk away from people, especially believers who are caught in sin. We're supposed to sacrifice ourselves for them, and at times that hurts when you call somebody out and you say, hey, what about this in your life? And they get really angry at you. It doesn't give you the opportunity to walk away from them. And I know that that's really hard and it's really harsh, but if you really love them, you do the right things for the right reason. The whole idea of discipline is so that you win your brother back. And so many times we use discipline punitively instead of restoratively. We're supposed to restore that relationship. I've had it happen both ways. Approached people and said, hey, what's this going on in your life? And they walk away. And I've had people say, thank you for coming to me and pointing it out. So I think you need to be prepared for both eventualities. But even if somebody walks away, it doesn't give you the right to stop praying for them and stop loving on them on a regular basis. Now, there comes a point when you shake the dust off your feet and you say, you turn them over to God. And turning them over to God means that you're praying for them. Discipleship is hard work. It takes a lot of time. But it's always a good thing when you're pouring into somebody and they come to you and they say, hey, you were right about this. I'm not going to tell you that that's always going to happen, but I'm going to tell you that when it does, it's very rewarding, and you've gained a brother. And once they see that discipleship has affected their lives, then they want to go and do the same. And that was the pattern that Jesus laid out for us. He discipled 12 guys, 11 of those guys, and then Paul eventually went out and they changed the world. And that's what we're attempting to do. Share Jesus Christ with people by loving on them and then having them do the same thing. And then we get that whole pyramid effect, that second generation fruit, and that's sweet. So for Discipleship Today, my name is Pastor Bob Benson. Thank you for taking your time to watch this video today.